This guy said that the customer just wanted the engine changed. He didn't say why. He doesn't know what's wrong with it. He got the engine like this with the valve cover off on the passenger side. Well, I think it's passenger side. I'm not sure how these engines sit in the car. But anyways, this valve cover was off. I guess we can take this off right now and I'll show you guys what it looks like under here. Fairly clean. A little rusty, been sitting. But everything looks fine under here, just briefly looking. I'm not sure how much oil is actually going to come out of here with the angle this thing is sitting at. It looks kind of reddish, brownish, but it looks pretty clean, so that's a good sign. I'm taking this valve cover off on this side. Pull the coils out first. This side out of the way. Coils all came out easily. Looks like I'm gonna have to pull that line off right there. Okay, so I have to pull off, I think this is an oil supply line or something, right here. Yep, looks like oil. There's a little screen on the end of it. Washer. Looks like another 17 down here. It looks like this might have been leaking because there's oil all over the place, right around where this goes into the block. Actually, into the cylinder head. All kinds of nastiness there. But yeah, this one has a screen on it, the top one. No screen on the bottom one, at least. Unless it's stuck in there. Now we should be able to pop this guy off. Sheesh. He's on there. Oh. You don't need to remove all the bolts, but it helps. Looks like I need to take that one out. Okay. Yeah, I bet you that one was doing something. Oh yeah. Nice and clean. Toyotas are one of the most reliable vehicles. I wouldn't doubt it if it's part of the reason why is because people do their oil changes actually. But anyways, this valve cover is really clean under here. Trying to figure out what this little tube is for, but maybe it's just for support. Well, there's an oil something right here. Something or another, because there's all kinds of passages for these solenoids. Phaser solenoids, I'm thinking. So maybe oil's going through that tube. Show you what we got here. Looks pretty clean. Pretty clean. Then I'm gonna pull off this coolant tube, and then I'll start get the engine mounts off. We'll start undressing the front. Okay, first off, let's take a look down all these ports and see if we see anything. Those stubs are open, closed. Let's try this side. Closed, open, closed. So those are all good. Can't see a whole lot down the intake except for just a little bit of the valves, but those ones look good. A little bit of dirt on those ones. Good, good, and good. Well, I figured I better film taking off this coolant tube so you guys can watch me struggle. All that out of there. Oh. Why aren't you coming off? Seems to be loose. Sometimes you just need to. She's coming now. There we go. Gee, I don't know why it was on there so good. The O-ring maybe. What a mess. I love these double jointed needle nose pliers. They are probably one of the best inventions. But I like to use them even when I don't need to use them. How much I like them. Let's see what that does. Ooh, causes an oil leak. That's what that does. So apparently this is the, I just got a splash with oil. This is the oil filter housing with the oil lines. So they have a whole separate thing just for the oil. Not sure how I feel about that. Okay, let's get this water pump off of here. So it looks like a bunch of 10 millimeters, but I'm gonna have to pull off some of these pulleys before I pull off this water pump. That wasn't too bad. Oh, I guess that one I probably shouldn't take off of that. Gotta take it off over here. Tensioner pulley. $14 millimeters, a bunch of them. That's an excessive amount. 2, 4, 5 bolts. Usually those are held down with 1 or 2. Now I can get to my water pump bolts. I do. Let's take this one off first. There we go. Looks like they're 10 and 12 millimeters. 12, 12, 12. Looks like almost all the rest are 12. Three different sizes for the water pump. Toyota's making it nice and easy. Apparently there's a lot of coolant left in this engine. Woo, buddy! Probably would have been a good idea to drain that first, but you know, saves you a step if you just drain it out. Okay, just made a huge mess. but water pump is off. It's actually a pretty nice water pump gasket. I like it. That's what the water pump looks like. Okay, I'm gonna pull off the crank balancer next. Let's try a 22. Perfect. Sometimes these come off pretty easily. Look at that. That was... Did you see that? That just came right off. Wow, I can't afford to do that. Holy smokes. That's nice. Thought I was gonna have to get my puller. Looks like they're mostly 12 millimeter, but there's some 14 millimeters. So I'll get working on that first. 14s. And there's also some coming up from the oil pan on the bottom here. Looks like there's 4 of them going into the pan. No, I'm not happy. Well, let's flip her over and see what happens here. Yep, there's some gnarly 12 millimeters way down in the oil pan. Okay, anyways, so yeah, I had to take the oil pan off because I'm not going to get these front cover off unless I have the oil pan off without getting these studs out. 2 in here, so you do have to remove the mini pan. And this guy should put them out. Okay. When I see it should come off. There's the 2 bolts that are down in there that you got to get off. Winded stray, pretty clean. Still have no idea what's actually wrong with this engine. Let's see if it turns over. A little bit of play, but I don't think any of the rod bearings are bad. Okay, I'm gonna flip it back over because we still need to take the spark plugs out also before I get ahead of myself here. She's moving. She's moving. There we go. Oh yeah. Let's try that. Good looking timing cover. A little discoloration here. Not too bad. Okay, let's get these spark plugs out. I did loosen these 3 already. They feel fine. So far. So I'll buzz those ones out and then I'll break these ones loose. Well, that one wasn't very tight. Kind of tight coming out though. Okay. This one wasn't very tight either. Well, this one wasn't either. All the spark plugs on this side felt pretty loose, and they're like not coming out very easily. Big difference from the other side. That one looks fine. Ooh. Okay, let's see what we got here. That one was replaced recently because it's a lot cleaner than this last one. Well, just the threads are a lot cleaner. So cylinder, whatever number that is on this side. See, this one's kind of dirty, but it's not oily like that one was. The very first one. This one's just really dry. Also really dry. Pretty much just really dry. So all three of these guys look pretty normal. They're a little dirtier than the other ones. These are also a Denso brand. And these ones are NGK. So somebody changed all the spark plugs on that side, which would be why they're so easy to take out after I broke them loose. Yeah, they look fine. So our intake manifold looks good. Oh, a single metal gasket for the intake manifold. They appear to be fine. At least that one does. Yeah, both of them look fine. Okay, time for the timing. First thing, I always pull the tensioner off. It's always a great idea to make sure your timing is set. In this scenario, I'm just gonna hope for the best, see what happens. Got really lucky. So far we got lucky. I'll just put it that way. This is probably tight, holding us together right here. But we're finding this the way around. So let's see what happens when I pull the chain. Make sure you don't get your finger stuck in here. What I'm gonna do is loosen all these cam caps. That way they're floating a little bit. This is by no means the correct way to do this. I always refer to the service manual when doing a job like this because we're doing a disassembly here and I don't care too much about the parts. Pull these guides off. That way they're out of the way. And there's not one on the other side because it already fell off on the ground. And for the other head. So the timing just jumped a little bit. Hoping everything's okay. The reason why I'm doing this is because I don't want to take the time to have to set a timing before I pull everything apart. And if you don't set the timing, you risk hitting a piston with a valve. Because when I take these chains off, this engine's probably going to turn. The cams are going to turn. Can I get these off without taking the phasers off? I have no idea, but I'm trying. Okay, so I may have just bent a valve, but hopefully if the cams are able to float enough, they're fine. So there's our bicycle chain with our 3 marks. I'm guessing those are the set timing. Usually that's how it goes. So good, that came off pretty easily. These just slide right off. And now I'm gonna leave all these cam cap bolts just loose. And I'm gonna go through and pull these little top sections off. So these heads have little top sections. I've actually never seen this before, so they kind of just hold the cams in the caps in where they're at, and you can just pull the whole cams off as they are apparently. So looks like mostly 12 millimeter, and they should come right off. I would imagine these 12 millimeters here are also holding it on. So all the 10 millimeters are meant to stay in place. Okay, they should come off now. The same thing on this side. At this point, you need basically special tools. So they're not actually special tools, but they're 12-point star bits. And I'll show you what it looks like. I see this on a lot of overseas cars, like Volkswagen, Audi. I've seen it on Hyundai and Kia too. They like to do 12-point for your head bolts and stuff. So this particular one is 12 millimeter 12-point star bit. With these star bits, I highly suggest not using any kind of an impact. They do seem to strip out a lot easier than anything else. Before I get to the star bits, I'm gonna pull these, looks like they're 12 millimeter regular hex heads. Loosen them about a quarter turn. So I'm just gonna go through, loosen all these, and then I'll pick you guys back up when I'm ready to take the heads off. Okay, should be ready to pull them off. Okay, I'll show you guys what we ended up with here. What I would believe to be the driver's side. This cylinder is looking a little funky, and there's a piece of metal just sitting in there, but it's like kind of damaged, a little bit damaged or something. And I got both the cylinder heads off. That one looks completely fine. This is the one out of that cylinder. Let's take a look here. So as you can see, it's kind of like there's a little bit of pitting and stuff, like there was that piece of metal bouncing around in there. I'm guessing that's what caused their issue. The other thing is those intake valves are sure looking a little oily. So not sure what's going on there or what happened. But everything on this side is fine. Looks normal. So, not sure what's going on here. I'll work on pulling off this coolant tube and flip it over, pull the pistons and rods, see if we see anything there, and go from there. Pull these coolant tubes off. Or 12, I guess it's a 12 for these NOx sensors. So at this point, basically the only thing I have to do is pull out the rear Rear main seal cover, sensor, crank position sensor. I'm gonna leave that guy on there. And then I can pull the rods and pistons. Rear main seal cover. That's a big seal. Also, I thought it was really interesting how these engines have some kind of a spacer thing on the block. Yeah, look at that. That's neat. So, I'm not sure what the point of it is, but it's in there. Comment down below what you think this is for. Why did Toyota start putting these in their engines? Because I would like to know. I'm gonna take all the cross bolts out of these main caps first. 12 millimeter. So rod bolts are 12 millimeter 12 point. We'll start with what I'm assuming is cylinder number 1, closest to the front. Bearing looks good. I'm expecting all these bearings to be good looking, so if I see anything I'll show you guys. These are kind of what they're looking like here. So just your average carbon buildup around the rings, minor to little wear on the skirts. Rods look great, bearings look really good. It's just another example of how good the bearings look. Probably the best bearings I've ever seen in an engine. So this is the cylinder that's got the piston that has some damage. Looks like there's like a chunk missing right there. Not sure what happened, but looks like it got kind of hot. It kind of looks like it got hot and melted a piece out of there, but maybe a chunk just busted out. I don't see any cracks along the skirt or anything. Rings are all fine. Second ring is a little stuck. Okay, so now I'm going to pull all the main caps and we'll get this crankshaft out of here. Feels good. So these ones look like 14 millimeter. Yep. Check out that bearing. Clean. So this is the thrust bearings. The one with the thrust washers on it. And that one got stuck down in there, but these bearings look great. Okay, well, it looks like pretty much everything else is in good shape. I'll show you guys the block here. So, it looks really clean from the underneath. I'll get her spun over so we can check out the bores. The bores all look pretty good. Very minor scoring, but you can see the cross hatching very well still. I'm guessing this engine did not have a whole lot of miles on it. Either that or Toyota just knows their stuff. So this is the cylinder that had the issue. You can see a little bit of scraping down the cylinder wall right there, and a little nick at the top right there. See if I can get you guys zoomed in on that. Well, maybe not. Anyways, there's a little nick in the bore at the top there, but otherwise really still a good cylinder. These other two are great also. So I would say this block's still good. That's not really a huge issue. This crankshaft also really in good condition still. I mean, definitely a good crankshaft. Everything looks really good on it. A little bit of discoloration, but that's to be expected. So I have really no idea what happened with this engine. Just that debris and the cylinder on the back of the driver's side bank, and a little bit of oil on the valves, like I said, on that cylinder head right here. So those are some good dry ones. That one looks like it has some rust on it, but anyways, these are all oily, so really no idea what's going on here. If you guys have any idea what you think happened to this engine, please comment down below, let me know. I'd really like to get to the bottom of it and figure out what happened on this one. If you want to see more content like this, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.